Hi guys, I'm Matthew, your VB tutor. Welcome to episode 1 of the Excel Blackjack series. If you haven't watched the overview video, I recommend checking that out first. Just click the card at the top to view the full series. In this episode, we'll be covering building the cards sheet and creating the carpet and table for our Blackjack casino. Alright, let's get into it. First we're going to need some card images. I've just gone online, I've found a website called nikubunu.ro, the link will be in the description below. And I've just found a list of these cards. So you just download it as a pack, export it, and you get cards that look like this. It also comes with a bunch of card backs, so you can use these to create the back of the cards when we build our game. Anyway, I have all these cards and files already here. Just go and grab them, source them from wherever you like, as long as they have sort of a reasonable naming structure. Like this is C2 for 2 of clubs, and D3 is diamond 3. Okay, so first we're going to build a cards sheet. So this is just going to be basically a table with card ID, suit, card, and image. And we're also going to have a card back over here, and I'm just going to set all the height of these to 80 pixels. This makes it nice when we actually have our cards in here. Okay, so we're going to have hearts, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king. All right, copy that down. I'm going to do that again for spades, again for clubs, and what's left? Diamonds, so diamond. Okay, and then our card IDs, let's give them just increasing values all the way down to 52. We're also going to make this a table, so just click anywhere in this area and press Control T to create a table, and then we'll just call that table cards. Over here I'm just going to copy this formatting, just make it look a bit nicer, and in here we're going to insert our card back. Now if we just do insert picture, place in cell, what it does, it embeds the object, embeds the image object. We don't want that. We actually want to be able to refer to the image path. So what we can do is we'll programmatically insert all these images. So we go to the Developers tab, open Visual Basic, and let's just create a new module. We'll call that mod setup. This is only going to be used for setting up, just temporary to set up all of our card images. So we're going to do private sub, insert images, right? In here we're going to specify a folder path as a string, set the folder path equal to, and I'm going to specify this folder. Put the backslash in there as well. We want a file string. We also want to set the range of where we're actually setting all these values. We'll set range equal to sheet. We'll give that a code name, so sheet cards range, and we'll refer to the B column 3. That's just everything here down that column. Then we're going to loop through each of those cells, so that we want to create a cell item. We're going to get the suit as a string and the card as a string. Okay, so for each cell in the range dot cells, we'll get the suit. So the suit's going to be lowercase, and the first letter of each suit name. So we're going to get H for heart, S for spade, C for club. And what we're doing is we're matching those names to the names here. So it's going to be C for club, D for diamond, so on. And then you'll notice these are 2 for jack, A for ace, 2 for 2, A for ace, J for jack, and so on. So in here we'll do left of the cell that we're on, because we're going through the B column, which is already the suits. And we'll get the first character from that. And then our card is going to be, we'll get the lowercase of that as well. It's going to be cell.offset. We don't want to offset by row, but we want to offset by column. So we're offsetting by 1 column, so that's, we're looping through these, and then we're getting this as the card value. Then the file name is going to be simple underscore, then we append the suit, another underscore, card, and their SVG files. Okay, so what that's going to do is create a string that says simple H for heart, 2 for card. That's going to be, you know, simple underscore H underscore 2.svg, right? So then to insert the image the way we want, we actually need to select the cell first. Usually I don't like to select the cell, but because we're only going to be running this once, it doesn't really matter. So offset 0, 2, that's going to be, as we're again looping through this column, we offset 1, 2 to refer to this image column. And we select that. And then in the same cell, we do insert picture in cell, folder path, and the file name. All right, and that's all. So I just do that, and we run this code. There we go. So we've got all of our cards, nice images in there in each cell. And you'll notice that the file path is actually in the formula bar, right? If I do insert place in cell, and I do the same thing, you'll notice in the formula bar, it just comes up with picture. It's not as easy for us to reference later on in the code, so we're just going to use this one like this. And we just need to do the same thing for the back. So private sub, insert back. And we make these just so that you can, you know, easily change the cards if you want to. If you want to change the card faces or the card backs, then it's quite easy to actually change that. But these are just used for setup, so I wouldn't worry too much. The file path I'm going to use for the back of this, in this backs folder. I made it previously with the red, I'm going to make it with the blue this time, so let's use that one. So copy as path, file path equals that. And then, so we set a range object, set range equal to sheet cards dot range, and that's referring to just this cell G2. Actually, we might name that cell. We'll call that card back. Okay, and then we can just call that card back. Okay, and again, range select and range dot insert picture and file path. Okay, and run that, and you can see the card back appear there. Right. Now I'm also going to be using this card back image somewhere in the code, so I'm just going to insert that in over cell. Number 7. All right, so that's our cards sheet set up. Now we're going to create the game environment. So I'll call that game, and then in our code name for that, we'll call that sheet game as well. Okay, to set up the objects for this, we're going to do that in PowerPoint, but just quickly, I'm going to create a background. You'll notice in the original one, I had that sort of checkered pattern. We're going to insert that. So we'll go to page layout, background, from a file. And again, I've got this casino carpet. All I did was I went to Google and I searched for casino carpet texture, and I found this one. I think I might have darkened it a little bit, but you can find any texture you like. We'll insert that. Looks horrible with the grid lines, so we'll turn those off. And there you go. You've got a casino carpet. All right, before we jump over to PowerPoint, I'm just going to create a shape here. This is going to be a semicircle kind of shape. I want this to be about that big. I'm going to cut off that top in PowerPoint. I think that looks good. Okay. So we'll copy that. We'll head over to PowerPoint, paste that image in. Now, first thing I'm going to do is just trim off that top. So I think from about there, create another shape, then Control click on both, go to merge shapes and subtract. That gives us our nice semicircle shape. Now to make our border, we're going to copy that and we'll go to hold Control and Shift and drag in that corner that evenly drags in and centered on the same positioning. So we're going to create, that's going to be about our border. We're going to duplicate this because we're going to want, that's going to be the tabletop. And we're going to duplicate that because right at the very back, we're also going to want to create a shadow. Okay, so we'll click the larger image and then the smaller, and we'll do a subtract. So at the moment, that doesn't really look like anything. If I just get rid of front and back, you can see we now have this sort of outlined shape. So for the shape fill for that, I've got this brown color. Again, you can kind of do whatever you like for this. And I'm going to give it no outline. And then I'm going to give it a bevel. Let's have a look, see. I think that one looks good. That's slant. And then our inner shape, we're going to shape fill that with a sort of light green color and give the border the same color. And then our shadow behind, we're going to just select that very back shape, go to shape effects, shadow, give it that outer shadow. And that's sort of the basics of our table. You can leave it like that if you want, but I'm just going to create another few little features. So I'm going to get that card back. That card back is going to be like our deck. We're going to give that a sort of drop shadow like that. It sort of makes it look like it's got a bit of height to it. And then we're going to duplicate that. We want that down here. We're going to make another shape, which is about the same size. This is going to be our sort of card placeholder. So I'm just going to make that same dimensions. All right. Our shape fill for that can be no fill or the green, because it's going to be sitting on our table. And then this sort of light green, very, very light green, nearly like a white lime color. And we give that a bit of a thicker outline. Sit that there and just get rid of that card sitting behind there. We also want to make sure that this is centered on the table. So we'll align, center. Again, you can leave this as it is for now, or I also just want to create a little cutout for the dealer's side of the table. So we're going to set that there, center it. Going to make that like a very dark green, like that, with no outline, bump it up one position, and then we're going to copy that. I'm just gonna get a little bit smaller. It gives it like a bit of a drop shadow kind of effect. It's a bit darker. There we go. Then we give both of those an inner shadow. So kind of like that. And that's going to be our section for our dealer. I want to just make that a little bit like that. There we go. So now we've got our table. You can create any other little features you want of this. Maybe you can make some legs, or maybe you can make a little dealer person there, but I'm quite happy with this. I'm going to just group all that and copy that, and we'll go back over to our Excel document. We're going to paste that on the carpet. So we want to get this centered sort of on the screen here, right? So I also have a bottom bar on mine. So what we'll do is we're going to hide the unnecessary columns. So I've got this scaled exactly how I want it. This AD, if I bring that in, now that's our limit. So if I highlight every cell, hold Control and just get rid of the selection of all those. That means every column across here is all selected. We can right click on that and go hide. If we do the same thing down here, so past row 40, hold Control, select all of those, deselect them all, right click and hide. So now we have our sort of game space. And we're going to put that down the bottom here. It's going to be our bottom bar. And we're going to give that a black fill, no outline. And then if we go to format shape, we can turn that transparency to about 50%. I think that's good. And then what we can do is use that to center this. So if you control click on that, then that, we got a line and a line center. And now our table is centered in the middle of the game. Thanks for watching. Please hit that like button if you're building along, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. In the next episode, we'll cover building the rest of your interface elements and naming shapes logically for easy referencing. As always, the final product is available on my Patreon for one-time purchase or for free to second-tier members. Thanks again for watching. This is your VB Tutor signing out.